All right, welcome to episode number 71 of the Let's Discuss Gaming podcast. I am your host, Triple J. Joining me is my co-host, Dr. Games 101.
What's going on, guys? Hello.
We don't have a big number of topics to go through, but we do have a fair number of topics to get through. So, you ready to start with the first one?
Yes, indeed.
All right, first one coming up. Nintendo Live, an in-person fan event, takes place in Seattle this fall. Oh, let me turn it on display so people can see if they want to follow along. Nintendo Live, a fun event celebrating all things Nintendo, is taking place in the U.S. for the first time this September. The event, which has previously been held in Japan, will take place in Seattle. It serves as a large convention that will allow Nintendo enthusiasts to play popular Switch titles, take photos with Mario and other characters, and enjoy live entertainment, including game tournaments. The event will also feature a number of Nintendo-themed activities scattered across the venue. Fans of all ages can currently experience the unique games, characters, and worlds of Nintendo on Nintendo Switch, but we want to expand that scope with a new experience, said Nintendo of America President Doug Bowser in a press release. With Nintendo Live 2023, we're giving attendees a chance to celebrate together with family, friends, and the broader Nintendo community in the spirit of fun and creating long-lasting memories. There's no information on the exact date or location for the event, nor when ticket sales begin, but you can keep an eye on the event's official website to learn more once those details become available. Nintendo is enjoying a wave of positive momentum this year following the opening of its second Super Nintendo World theme park at Universal Studios Hollywood, as well as the successful premiere of the Super Mario Bros. Movie. What do you think of Nintendo Live? Would you be attending if it was possible?
If I was a very wealthy man, you'll see me travel to as much as many Nintendo's events as possible. Currently, I'm a poor sap, so I cannot really travel about like everyone else on YouTube. So, if it's here in New York City, I'll definitely take a train ride to Madison Square Garden, perhaps Rockefeller Center, and wherever these events take place in Manhattan somewhere. But nice that they have it here in New York City for the first time. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's very interactive with the blocks and the coins, and got Princess Daisy cosplayer over there, I bet, especially.
Yeah, that's what you'd be most interested in.
Yeah, I was taking pictures with Princess Daisy or Princess Peaches,
Yeah, it sounds like it's gonna be great. I did see someone walk through the Super Nintendo park at Universal Studios. It was like a Super Mario themed park.
Yeah.
But obviously I don't have the money, so obviously I wouldn't go. I would if I did, but
yeah. Speaking of prices of these events, they keep going up every year or two, especially thanks to Disney as a forefront, because whatever's going on in the Disney and Florida for the last several months now, they increased the prices on most of their events going on in these theme parks. So they're trying to get the rich people to come in there rather than the regular everyday American, which I cannot blame them. But still, it's like this is supposed to be a family oriented for everyone that can afford it, And I remember this time. I'm talking about Disney, of course. But back when I was going to Disney in '94, it wasn't about the money; it was about the experience. And I was 7 years old when I visited Disney. And what's so funny is that I went there while I had chicken pox. My mom,
really?
Yeah, my mom took me to Disney World while I watched that chicken pox because I contracted the disease back when I was 7 years old, the week before I was going to Walt Disney World. I went there anyway. I wasn't too sick, but I was able to walk around and shit. So,
Wow, I'm lucky. I was when I caught chicken pox. I was so young I don't even remember it.
Oh, okay, lucky you.
Yes. But yeah, so I mean, as this live event in Seattle gets closer, obviously more info will come out, and we'll talk about it then. Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next. Okay. Wrestling president says video game is finished, but its devs disagree. AEW Fight Forever is available for pre-order despite not having a release date. The backstage drama in a world of professional wrestling can upstage the theatrics inside the squared circle. AEW's lack of a release date for its upcoming video game is starting to wear thin on fans. AEW, short for All Elite Wrestling, is a new wrestling promotion on TNT that was founded in 2019 by Tony Khan, whose father owns the NFL's Jacksonville Jaguars, alongside professional wrestlers and executive vice presidents Kenny Omega, Matt and Nick Jackson, and WWE superstar Cody Rhodes. AEW first announced its video game, AEW Fight Forever, in the second year of the promotion's existence. While fans were excited about the idea, since then things have gone awry in a couple of ways. Most recently, the discord appeared in the form of a lack of internal consistency between the people involved in making and promoting the game. AEW President Tony Khan has had a press conference following AEW's pay-per-view recently to discuss match results and generate buzz about future storyline. During the presser, Khan was asked whether fans should anticipate an announcement about AEW Fight Forever's official release date. Tony Khan said that the game was basically finished but didn't provide a release date to the press. I can't say the exact release date. There's a lot of things that go into that. I don't want to step on anybody with that, Khan said. It is coming very soon. The game is finished. The problem with Khan's statement arose when the folks actually making the game not only weren't on the same page, things sounded slightly contentious. THQ Nordic senior community manager Per Hollenbo, known as Zitty on Twitter, clarified for fans online that Khan's claim it isn't exactly true. In a reply to a post linking to Khan's response, Hollenbo said, if you want an unfinished game, sure, we could release now. At the end of his response, Hollenbo said any reports that AEW Fight Forever is 100% done is just another rumor on Twitter. In a Twitter thread response to followers, Hollenbo explained that he doesn't think that Khan lied in any shape or form about AEW's Fight Forever's development status, but that there was a clear difference in how the AEW president and THQ Nordic view a game being finished. This is the latest in a longer series of dramatics with the game, which includes cover art that had to pull its depiction of wrestler CM Punk following his backstage fight with Omega and the Jacksons and the game's lack of a release date. Speaking with Kotaku via email, Hollenbo explained that a game being finished goes further than being playable at a video game event like Gamescom 22 or IGN FanFest 2023. For a publishing house, a game is not finished until we have a shipping date and a release date 100% in stone. Development is just one part of the bigger picture, Hollenbo said. Outside of playing great in test matches, Hollenbo said AEW Fight Forever needs to pass quality assurance test, get localized in 7 languages for AEW Fight Forever. Those languages would include English, German, French, Spanish, Brazilian Portuguese, simplified Chinese, and Japanese, get polished, have retailer and shipping deals, get submitted to first-party platforms, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch, and have all unique requirements for said devices, get optimized on every platform, have marketing and public relation plans, get an ESRB rating. Now, if just one of these things isn't finished, then the game in a publisher's eye is not ready to be shipped, as then the product is not as wanted, Hollenbo said. Hollenbo went on to explain that AEW Fight Forever is being developed by 3 houses, as in the companies developing the game. These companies are Used, the Japanese studio behind WWE SmackDown and the WWE 2K games, THQ Nordic, and AEW. Because AEW Fight Forever has 3 houses developing it, Hollenbo said, all must agree and be happy with the result of every step. Last June, AEW wrestler Kenny Omega claimed AEW Fight Forever's original release was held up after some content was scaled back to get a teen ESRB rating, according to Fightful Select. Previously, Fightful Select reported that the game was on schedule to release in 2022, as later rumored to release in February 2023. When Kotaku reached out to THQ Nordic for comment about how far along AEW Fight Forever is in its development process, THQ Nordic's PR team responded by saying AEW Fight Forever will be released when it's done. Although the AEW Fight Forever sausage has been cooking longer than fans might have hoped, AEW hasn't slowed down when it comes to generating hype for the game, with early gameplay footage on its YouTube channel, AEW Games. AEW Fight Forever was first announced November 2020. Since its announcement, AEW has intermittently released early footage of the game and created a series of spoof press conferences videos about the game, parodying video game presentations like E3. Despite AEW's Dynamite's commentary team repeatedly plugging pre-orders for the game on fans' favorite consoles, the only definitive news fans have gotten on the game is AEW Fight Forever isn't a release date, but the game's new cover art. Originally, AEW Fight Forever's cover art prominently featured returning wrestler CM Punk as the centerpiece of the game's advertising campaign. However, following CM Punk and fellow wrestlers Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, and Omega's backstage brawl and CM Punk's subsequent suspension, the game's cover art no longer features him on the cover. Instead, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, AEW's current world champion, is featured on the centerpiece of AEW Fight Forever's cover. CM Punk is rumored to be open to returning to the wrestling promotion according to WrestleTalk. Time will tell whether this rumor leads to the return of CM Punk before AEW gives its video game a concrete release date. They do have a trailer if you want to see what the game is going to look like. Should I play the trailer before we talk about it?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Alright, playing it. Let it load. Okay. I'm going to be playing the... let me close this menu. Playing the trailer now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be playing the... let me close this menu. Playing the trailer now.
Mm-hmm.
AEW Fight Forever was revealed to the world.
I can't believe what I just saw!
And the reaction was nothing short of spectacular.
Bring it! Let's see it! I'm better than you! Oh my God! Incredible!
Do you remember the feeling when you could just pick up and play a video game?
That feeling is back.
Hey, Sting.
Are you ready to reignite the magic?
AEW.
Hey, Sting.
Has deep career modes. You can create your own wrestler, like me.
And use all of my signature moves.
Battle it out in some of my favorite matches, like Lights Out.
Balls count anywhere.
And don't forget about the weapons.
All the weapons.
Now, it's time for you to create your unforgettable moments. AEW Fight Forever, coming soon.
So, when you're done with the trailer, let me know.
Yeah, I'm done looking at the trailer.
Okay, so what do you think of the game?
I have to say, it looks pretty interesting. I think I saw a trailer like this many weeks ago on YouTube. Right? Yeah, with John Moxley and Adam Page talking. We did see that trailer before, but I was hoping it would show more gameplay. Right.
Because I've watched it on AEW Games. Hold on, just let me check that I got the next pages up. Yeah. I watched it on AEW Games YouTube channel, and this is WWF No Mercy with current day graphics. They got the same spirit meters at the bottom.
Okay.
The only thing I didn't like is that they said that there's been, and they did say, I'll release this now since we're talking about the game. They said the reason behind the game being called Fight Forever, they're not going to release a yearly series like WWE does with 2K.
Right.
Fight Forever might be updated with DLC, but it's not gonna be a yearly series.
Of course not.
Like the WWE games. Instead, maybe DLC to keep when new stars are hit TV regularly, stuff like that. They said there's going to be a story mode But there's not. Unfortunately, you're not going to get to create your own stories. I was so hoping for that, especially after WWE 2K passed up on that.
Yeah, AEW, it may have potential, but they don't have that kind of bigger budget like that of WWE. So it just started out. So give them a few more years, you know.
Well, keep in mind it's THQ Nordic developing it, so.
But AEW themselves, I'm sure they have like a small budget or some sort of like small amount of investment into the game itself to some extent. You know, they can't be over-exaggerated, you know.
Keep in mind, Tony Khan's father owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tony Khan himself not only owns All Elite Wrestling, but he purchased Ring of Honor when they were in limbo.
Oh, wow.
So Tony Khan's the Khan family has money.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah. This isn't Impact Wrestling just struggling to survive. This is and AEW's got a bloated roster of over hundreds of wrestlers. They don't even need legends to hit that 100 or 200 mark.
Okay.
But obviously they can't put wrestlers back in the game that went back to WWE. Say so.
Right, of course.
But yeah, what do you think of this game? Are you going to be interested in playing it when it finally does come out?
If it comes out for the Xbox One, that'll be great. Obviously not, but you know, it's going to come out for the next gen, the current gen.
No, they said PS4 and Xbox One also.
No way, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they've been working on this since 2021. So.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I can't wait for the game to come out. I mean, it being so delayed is probably a blessing in disguise, just because of how hectic things are with me. You know, obviously, like I said, I'm still searching for a telemarketing job because I'm taking care of my mother. I'm just not able to anymore. It's you know, I'm not a trained professional, and I'll even share this on stream. A nurse came over, and the nurse said to me, "You're doing the jobs of 3 or 4 people. There's no way you could continue." She said it's amazing you've done it for like 2 years or 1.5 years at this rate.
Right.
Because if she needs help using the bathroom or taking a shower, which my aunt usually gave her a sponge bath. Luckily my aunt's done the sponge bath thing, but when my mom needs help using the bathroom, I gotta lift her out of the chair, put her in a wheelchair, wheel her to the bathroom, lift her out of the wheelchair onto the toilet, and then everything all over again when she's done with the bathroom. That's just a little bit of what I go through. So, and that's also why I didn't have a job, because how could I do all that, be exhausted by 7 p.m., and then still work a job on top of it?
I understand.
So, and there's other things, but we can talk about that after the stream. So I'm really hyped for AEW Fight Forever. I just can't wait till the game comes out. Hopefully CM Punk will still be in there. I just want the game to come out. But I do want THQ Nordic to take the time they need to finish everything. Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next. PlayStation Plus games catalog editions for April 2023 revealed. Doom Eternal, Wolfenstein 2, and Riders Republic join the premium PlayStation service. Sony has announced its PlayStation Plus game catalog editions for April 2023, bringing a mixture of first-person shooters, sports, and horror with titles like Doom Eternal, Riders Republic, and The Evil Within. According to a PlayStation blog, over a dozen games joined the April offerings for Plus, Extra, and Premium members on Tuesday, April 18th. On May 15th, Game Catalog will remove a handful of other titles, including Marvel Spider-Man, Resident Evil, and NBA 2K Playgrounds 2. Among some of this month's standout games are first-person shooters Doom Eternal and Wolfenstein 2. IGN gave both titles 9 out of 10 review scores, calling Doom a modernized reboot, a breath of fresh air for the genre, and Wolfenstein 2, a fantastically written and acted story. 40-player versus player sandbox Riders Republic and Shinji Mikami's survival horror nightmare Evil Within adds a little more variety into the mix. Plus, the ultra-violent murder mystery Paradise Killer is always worth a spin. Check out the full list below. So this is everything PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium game catalog. Bassmaster Fishing for PS4, PS5. I make a joke about that, but actually there are some Bassmaster games that are good. Mm-hmm. Doom Eternal for PS4 and PS5. Kenna Bridges Spirits for PS4, PS5. Okay, most of these are for PS4 and PS5. Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, Paradise Killer, Riders Republic, and Sackboy: A Big Adventure. The following are just for PS4. Slay the Spire, The Evil Within, Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, and Wolfenstein: The Old Blood. PlayStation Premium Classics, all for PS4. Doom, Doom 2, Doom 64, and Dishonored Definitive Edition. To score access to most of the latest in Sony's library, you'll need PlayStation Plus Extra at a minimum. To download the classics like Doom and Dishonored, you'll have to sign up for PlayStation's Premium tier. As for other Sony services, the platform holder announced its collection of PlayStation 5 PlayStation Plus titles would be removed on May 9th. The bundle includes games like Bloodborne, God of War, and Resident Evil 7, and members that redeem the offer can still download the collection even after it's gone. If Sony's latest update is of any interest, keep your eyes peeled for more PS5 news soon, as the company announced its plans for a new Final Fantasy XVI State of Play tomorrow. So, any of the games that are coming to PlayStation, are you interested in?
I've already have Doom Eternal and Doom. Well, I'll currently have Doom 64, Doom 1, 2, and 3. I have this a bundle for Doom back with a Fingerhut bundle for Fingerhut.com many years ago. Not many years ago, a couple of years back. And I got that for about $60, $50. Doom Eternal is already on the game library of Game Pass. That's my check on Xbox, so I'm covered on that part.
Yep.
But what I like to play more of is the Kenya Bridge of Spirits. Obviously, that's for PS4, PS5, or as a PS5 launch title back in 2020, 2021. And it looks good. I saw the gameplay of it, game trailer of it. Has a good story, very spiritual feeling. You know, it's kind of interesting to play. It has puzzles and platforms, style type of gameplay. So I like to play that one day. One day, of course, in time. So.
With as many games are with you. The only ones that stood out, Doom Eternal's awesome. I like it, and I grew up with the first Doom. I grew up with Doom on Super Nintendo. Yeah. What I didn't know is there were like a couple levels from Episode 2 in the first Doom of Super Nintendo. Like they showed like the first 7 or 8. I didn't know there were more if you actually got further.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Doom Eternal's awesome. Doom 2, and Doom 64, all 3 are great. Dishonored is okay. I just always end up not being able to figure out where to go. So, I mean, Dishonored Definitive Edition, I guess, is fine. The other games...
Go on. That's what I was saying, though, that I played Dishonored, but the original Xbox 360 game. I didn't play the Definitive Edition yet, so...
Yeah, I never played the Definitive Edition either. I just played Dishonored and Dishonored 2. I had Dishonored for 360. I played Dishonored 2 via Game Pass. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so the Doom games are really what caught my eye. Obviously, I get those. I did play a little bit of The Evil Within. I did get like past the first couple of chapters.
I think that probably goes to the chainsaw guy in Evil Within 1. That was hard. Because you like shotgun shells, like at least 10, and then like they got to hit him a couple of times. That's about it. He's dead. But it's hard to find those shotgun shells, and you got to roam the place in order to find the shotgun shells if he's chasing after you eventually after a while.
I don't have anything else to add since we talked about Doom. Ready to move on?
Yeah, ready.
All right. I'm thinking maybe I should tell you what happened. Nah, we'll save it for after the stream.
Yeah, you tell me after.
All right. So, all right. Next, Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League delayed to February. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has been delayed to next year following recent rumors that it wasn't going to make its May 26th release date. The superhero co-op shooter will now launch on February 2nd, 2024. Developer Rocksteady posted a short message on Twitter stating it wants to take the time needed to ensure the best possible experience. Check it out below. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League will now launch on February 2nd, 2024. We have made the tough but necessary decision to take the time needed to work on getting the game to be the best quality experience for players. Thank you to our amazing community for the continued support, patience, and understanding. There is much more to share in the months ahead, and we look forward to seeing you in Metropolis next year. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League puts players in the shoes of Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, and King Shark as they fight to rescue Metropolis from an invasion by Brainiac. The villain has hijacked the minds of the Justice League, meaning the squad has taken down Earth's greatest protectors to save the day. The game has received a hefty dose of fan vitriol since its last gameplay demonstration in February confirmed an always-online requirement, as well as live service elements, such as a cosmetics-only battle pass. Other fans have found its cooperative loot-based shooting to be an uninspired fit for the property. Although we don't know the specifics behind the delay, sources told Bloomberg in its original report last month that Rocksteady was only pushing the game to add polish and did not plan to overhaul the game's existing framework. Even though a nearly year-long delay is a lot of time, it's still very unlikely that's enough for the team to make the sort of dramatic changes some fans are hoping for. We'll have to wait and see how Rocksteady spruces up the Suicide Squad and hope it results in a quality experience when the dust finally settles. What do you think of Suicide Kill the Justice League's delay?
Obviously, it's like, supposed to be like hyped up for the Suicide Squad movie that came out back last year, so kind of at the wrong timing right now of its delay. But it's better than taking it out right now to the public, because it might be some bugs, might be some fixtures, it has to be fixed and stuff like that. So personally myself, I'm not a big fan of the Justice DC Comics segment of the superheroes as much as I used to back 5 or 7 years ago. Because when I saw Batman v Superman in 2016 in theaters with my mom and all, it was an interesting experience to see that. And then Suicide Squad came after later on that year or the following year. The Suicide Squad movie of 2016, 2017, it was all right. I don't remember much of it. All I remember was Batman holding on to a hood of a car, and then Harley Quinn's undressing scene. That's about it. So, it's oh yeah, it's that was good stuff, good times back then. But now
we know what Dr. Games 101 thinks about when he's watching these movies.
Hey, it's a nice gesture to the audience. They captivate me. So it's
Hey, if Harley Quinn floats your boat, I'm not saying anything.
Oh yeah, I was just rated R movie, so it's not for you kids. But yeah, it's but what I'm hearing though is that thanks to the Avengers being all messed up and stuff, it kind of like create this disembodied dynamic afterward, because people are not seeing the superhero franchise as it used to be prior to all this releases of games. Because obviously in the DC universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, since Phase 4 or the end of Phase 3, it was not as good hearted or not as well received by the audience. So a mixture of all these events going on, then the games are delayed. Now it's taking a risk right now for the creators of the Justice League, of this Suicide Squad game, Kill the Justice League. It's gonna be iffy now. Because I was anticipating for it to come out by the summertime of this year. Last time I checked. So it sucks, but let's see how it'll be next year. So they got almost a whole year from now in order to fix whatever they're fixing the game.
Yeah, so I mean, DC properties basically have never had a game like Marvel Ultimate Alliance that exists for the Marvel characters. the best games, I think, in the DC license when you consider everyone, not just specific superheroes, is the Injustice 1 and 2. Injustice Gods Among Us and Injustice 2. So, I would be interested in this, even though it's always online. I'm guessing if it's a co-op game like Payday, it wouldn't work offline.
Yeah.
Like I played Payday 2 with AI partners, and it's boring.
I downloaded it 2 times Payday 2. I never get a chance to play it yet.
If you want to try it out, just let me know. That way, at least we could play with each other. Because, like I said, if you try to rob a jewelry store in Payday, sure, your AI partners will shoot at the police, but in getting the bags to the truck, filling the bags and getting them to the truck, that falls solely on the human players. So,
right.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't. If it was something like that, I can understand online only. I don't really, like I said, I don't see this game working offline. So that really always online doesn't bother me with this game so much. But yeah, I guess we'll see what as February comes closer, we'll see what this game really has to offer, and if it's really worth being online, always online.
Yeah.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, I hope they'll do their best to hopefully as reward of waiting for a while longer, they should add like a free DLC to the pre-order. I would like something like where they could do like a Harley Quinn 2016 Suicide Squad outfit, DLC, some shit like that,
Yeah, maybe some extra costumes for people who pre-ordered the game.
Yeah, definitely. That'll be worthwhile to wait.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Alright, next. Sega confirms intention to purchase Angry Birds developer Rovio. I'm going to read the actual article, then I'll read the update. As reported by Polygon, the Sonic the Hedgehog publisher confirmed the deal on April 17th, and Rovio... Oh, okay, so this is the original story. Sega is reportedly close to acquiring Angry Birds developer Rovio Entertainment for about $1 billion. According to Wall Street Journal, the deal between Sega and Rovio Entertainment is expected to finish early next week, provided that discussions between the two companies don't fall apart or prolong. Neither Sega nor Rovio has made an official announcement yet. Rovio was previously in talks to be acquired by Israeli mobile company Playtika for $800 million, but those negotiations ended last month. Sega has acquired a few companies over the past few years, including Company of Heroes developer Relic Entertainment, 2 Point Campus developer 2 Point Studios, and most notably, Persona developer Atlas. There had been many acquisitions in the video game industry recently, including Microsoft's deal to merge... hold on, okay. I just want to make sure I didn't start on an old update. There have been many acquisitions in the video game industry recently, including Microsoft's deal to merge with Activision Blizzard, as well as Sony's merger with Bungie. In particular, the mobile gaming space is growing as well. Activision Blizzard's Candy Crush franchise would be a big boom to Microsoft's portfolio, and Sony formed a mobile division to create games based on new and existing IPs last year. Additionally, Take-Two Interactive acquired mobile developer Zynga last year. Angry Birds was first released in 2009 as one of the most popular mobile games ever. Rovio Classics Angry Birds was released in March 2022, which includes the original Angry Birds game with all chapters alongside all Easter eggs and extras at the time. So this was on the 14th. This update was a few days later from the 17th. Sega has confirmed it is set to purchase Angry Birds developer Rovio for $775 million following reports of a potential deal earlier in April. As reported by Polygon, the Sonic the Hedgehog publisher confirmed the deal on April 17th, and Rovio's board and shareholders have already approved it too. The acquisition is expected to go through by the end of September, with Rovio's mobile game expertise intended to help boost Sega's own position in that market. So, what do you think of Sega purchasing Rovio? And I just want to look at those. So Sega has purchased Rovio, which gives them Angry Birds, but they've also bought Relic Entertainment, 2 Point Studios, and Atlas. That got them Company of Heroes, 2 Point Campus, and the developer for 2 Point Campus and the developer for Persona,
Catherine,
and the developer for Company of Heroes. So Sega seems to be on a little bit of a buying spree, don't you think?
Don't forget Catherine with Atlas as well, if you refer to Atlas.
Oh yeah, okay. So they got so yeah. I mean, like I said, it seems seems like Sega's on a little bit of a buying spree.
Yeah, talking about for the last 10, 15 years, they've been considered a third-party developer. They used to be a first-party developer for their own systems and all for how many years, up until 2000, 2001. And then the Dreamcast got discontinued in 2002. So if they plan on making their own system eventually, which I doubt it though, then I guess they try to develop some sort of sales within their company, even if it is third-party for the time being. And Angry Birds is popular among the kids too, or especially the kids and teenagers, because there was these 2 movies that came out, Angry Birds 2, if I remember correctly. Or at least there's one Angry Birds movie that was successful in theaters. That was pretty good, I heard. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Angry Birds, obviously the kids love it. And so Sega might be, I don't know if they're making a comeback. It seems like Sega's actually trying to get in the mobile market.
Yeah.
But, they could maybe they'll make Catherine for cell phones.
Yeah.
They could.
A mini game of Catherine.
Yeah. Just a thought. I mean, I don't, but it's just with Sega's, not making consoles anymore and basically sticking to software. I'm surprised they're picking up all these studios.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we thought that Sega was in financial dire straits many years ago, but now for the last, 5 years, the economy kind of picked up. Then the pandemic happened. Then people are starting to go desperate, play more games than ever during the pandemic. So I guess sales went up for them due to third party like Sonic, or perhaps other games that Sega came out with many years ago. So.
Well, not even that. Just Sega's still a software developer to this day.
Right,
so I guess maybe the games that they've been developing, even though since they're on multi-platform, they've been doing well.
Oh yeah.
And say that the Dreamcast died in 2002, really died in 2001. To be honest, that's when interest started waning, going down.
Because GameCube took over, and then PlayStation 2.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Grand Theft Auto 3 on PlayStation 2 came out October 2001. Mm. So,
yeah, that was a big deal back then. I was so desperate to play that game that I asked my mom for Blockbuster money, because we had a multi-family Blockbuster membership, and I was asking my mom for $10 to own it to rent it for about 2 or 3 days at a time. And I was like, wow, it's a good game. I'm playing it for hours upon hours. GTA 3.
Yeah. So I mean. So I mean, good job for Sega. I hope they continue to be successful, and maybe they can release another compilation with what they've picked up from these studios.
Definitely.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next, Xbox Game Pass is losing one of its best games on May 1st. Tetris Effect, disconnected. Seasons change, taxes hurt, and Xbox Game Pass continues its cycle of life by rotating several games out of the subscription service. On May 1st, you can say goodbye to several games, some of which are really, really good. As spotted by Wario 64, Dragon Quest Builders 2, Destroy All Humans, Unsold, Bugsnax, and one of the greatest synthesizer games of all time, Tetris Effect Connected, will be exiting Game Pass to make way for new arrivals like Redfall. Game Pass members can still save 20% on these games when buying them outright, so for anyone who wants to keep these titles in their library, the price will be lower than usual. For anyone who hasn't experienced the sheer audiovisual delight of Tetris Effect, there's no better time than now to dive into a classic game that is enhanced by its eclectic score and captivating visuals. Directed by Tetsuya Mizuguchi, the Japanese designer and producer behind cult classics Rez and its re-release Rez Infinite. The game earned high praise for its mesmerizing aesthetics in GameSpot's Tetris Effect Connected review. So, I'll read the list again after I finish this article. As for new Game Pass arrivals, the latest batch of April titles are now available to play. Loop Hero, Iron Brigade, Ghostwire Tokyo, NHL 23, and Minecraft Legends are all available on the system, and Redfall will arrive on May 2nd for PC and Xbox Series, but we'll be able to play Redfall over the cloud. On console, Redfall will be hard locked to 30 frames per second, and a performance mode option will be added at a later date. So again, those games leaving in about a little over a week. Dragon Quest Builders 2, Destroy All Humans, Unsold, Bugsnax, and Tetris Effect Connect. Are you going to miss any of these games?
I've always wanted to play Destroy All Humans for the first time, especially the definitive edition, the one that came out for the Xbox One and PS4, because
Right.
I have the original copy of it on Xbox original on my library as well. So maybe one day, if I can play it, I have another week, so I can try to download Destroy All Humans. See how that game goes. You know?
Right. Yeah, I mean, none of these games really. None of these games. I played Tetris Effect. It's just like, because it's. I mean, to be fair, it's Tetris. I mean,
yes. Is that the old Tetris on the Game Boy?
Right. It's so. I mean, it's just. Was the word I'm looking for? I'm also looking for a different article that obviously I can't find. But it's not something. I mean, it's not something I'm gonna miss. These games, thankfully, nothing in this list. I think Bugsnax. I think we even have that for. Didn't we get that for Games with Gold one year?
I believe so.
So let me. Okay, got the article I was looking for. I learned if I don't have it on my computer or saved as a bookmark, just look through my search history, and I can find it there. Yeah, so Bugsnax, I think we have it for Games with Gold. I never played it. Tetris Effect, I played it just because I felt like playing a little regular Tetris.
Mm-hmm.
It was okay. I haven't gone back to it since I played it.
I'm sure there's nothing much special about it. The original is the better one, the best one.
Yeah. But the other games I'm not going to miss at all.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else to add or ready to move on?
I'm ready. Move on.
All right. Next. Almost good. Just let me do this first. Microsoft's deal to buy Activision Blizzard approved in another country. The deal has been unconditionally approved in another place. Microsoft's deal to buy Activision Blizzard has been approved by another global regulatory body. South Africa's Competition Commission announced on April 17th that Microsoft has unconditional approval to close the deal through its subdivision called Anchorage. This follows approvals of the deal in Saudi Arabia, Brazil, Serbia, Chile, and Japan. In a media release, the Competition Commission said it has no significant concerns regarding the potential for Microsoft to make Call of Duty exclusive to Xbox. The main reason, the Commission said, was because Microsoft does not have the ability and incentive to do so. Microsoft has argued over and over that it would make no financial sense to take Call of Duty off PlayStation because the player base on Sony's console is so large. The Commission added that Microsoft has already taken steps and signed deals to make sure Call of Duty continues to release on other console platforms in the future. Microsoft and Nintendo agreed to a 10-year deal for Call of Duty. For example, the same offer has been made to Sony, but the company, which has been one of the loudest critics of the deal, has not yet responded. Therefore, the Commission found that the proposed transaction is unlikely to result in a substantial prevention or lessening of competition in any relevant markets. The Commission further found that the proposed transaction does not raise any substantial public interest concerns, it said. One of the key concerns raised by regulators in the UK has been around cloud gaming and Microsoft's potential ability to create unfair business conditions of the Activision Blizzard buyout, if is allowed to go through. South Africa's statement doesn't mention cloud gaming, once presumably due to the lack of availability for cloud gaming services in the region. The United States and the UK have yet to approve Microsoft's proposed deal to buy Activision Blizzard. The UK's Competition and Markets Authority will hand down its ruling by April 26. In the US, the Federal Trade Commission is suing Microsoft to try to block the deal. Microsoft responded by saying that it gave peace a chance and will now fight the US government in the courts just like it did years ago with the United States versus Microsoft Corp lawsuit regarding personal computers. In that case, Microsoft and the government eventually settled, but it remains to be seen how things will play out this time with the Activision Blizzard deal. So what do you think of South Africa basically giving its thumbs up to the deal?
Well, I'm very surprised South Africa is involved with this matter directly because, obviously it's a developed country for how many decades so far since we had the Nelson Mandela being the president in South Africa back in the 1990s. So, yeah, more power to South Africa. Yeah, it's the Microsoft Activision deal I'm hearing too is that they're going to include all the Call of Duty games on the Game Pass sometime this summer. Last time I checked. So I'm not.
Okay, that would be.
It's nothing in concrete yet, but that's the rumor going on that I hear from other gamers. So it's that's what they told me. These group of gamers.
Now, what do you think about Microsoft taking the U.S. government to court
for the Activision Blizzard deal to make sure it going through?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's business. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's you can't be like too stingy or too anti-business. Of course, obviously,
Yeah.
one merger after another merger. We had that merger with Time Warner, AOL, and Time Warner with was it Comcast and shit like that, if I remember correctly. So it's one merger after another merger of different companies over the last 25, 30 years. It does raise a suspicion of who's really gonna control what content to how many customers. So if the government has to intervene to make sure that it's regulated properly, so be it. It's I blame the government for trying to regulate those matters because you don't have too few companies doing all the work. It's kind of it stifles competition, stifles quality of the gaming, as well as also controls the libraries of certain people's entertainment of sorts. So it's like Microsoft's library of the Xbox library and all. It's questionable because, like I said, with the other month or two when I was talking about the Bayonetta movie Bloodline, it's called, that I bought for like $3 or $4 on sale. I can't find that on my list anymore. It says it's currently not available. So yeah, so that's just as one example we talked about the other month or two. So I mean, it goes back several episodes ago, but stuff like that is the question because if we have to get the government involved to make sure people's libraries are not being tampered with. Plus, I remember buying the Bayonetta.
You sure you didn't just rent it?
No, I didn't rent it. It was on sale for like $5.
Okay.
Buy it. Yeah. I have receipts of it too. What's funny? The receipt that was in my history of my transactions is no longer there anymore. So when I try to look for it, it's not there. The Bayonetta purchase. Everything else is there. Almost everything else is there because I don't delete my history of my transactions. Obviously, it's for my own reference. So
did you pay for it with PayPal?
Mostly, I paid for it with a credit card.
Well, do you still have that? Is that credit card still active?
If it's the one that from last year, yes.
Okay, maybe. I'm saying, maybe with that credit card, you could pull up the statements online and see if it's in that credit card statement.
That's a lot of transactions to go back towards.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah.
What's that?
Give me those plates.
I'm currently recording on Debbie. All right.
Do you have to take a break?
Oh no, it's okay. I'm currently recording on Debbie. Okay. Sorry about that.
Okay, so I mean, South Africa. I mean, we're still waiting on the U.S. We're still waiting on the U.K. The UK to give its final decision. But it's it seems the critics, they keep falling one by one. So hopefully, this leads to what will happen with the U.S. and the U.K. And even then, the U.K. said we're temporarily approving the deal. So, ready to move on?
Yeah, ready.
All right. Next. Former Star Wars Battlefront 3 developer claims it was 99% done, but the history is complicated. I feel like it's been long enough now to come out and say Star Wars Battlefront 3 was going to be legit incredible, and the fact it got canceled 2 yards from the finish line is an absolute crime, former Star Wars Battlefront 3 Michael Barclay tweeted over the weekend. Barclay was referring to Free Radical Star Wars Battlefront 3, which was in development until it was canceled in 2008. His statement came in response to a simple question posed at developers. All right, hashtag game dev folks, what's your one that got away? It can be an IP you wanted to work on, a studio you wanted to work for, anything of the sort. Barclay, who now works as a lead designer at Naughty Dog, shared his own story and added, "Gamers don't know what they were robbed of." Barclay's claim isn't a new one. Way back in 2012, Free Radical co-founder Steve Ellis also claimed that Star Wars Battlefront 3 was 99% done. This prompted a former LucasArts employee to lash out at the studio, which has since undergone multiple iterations before reopening under Deep Silver in 2021. This 99% complete stuff is just bullshit, the former employee claimed to GameSpot at the time. A generous estimate would be 75% of a mediocre game. They went on to claim that Free Radical continually missed milestones and that the game didn't work in 2007, but that LucasArts was desperate for what was then a next-gen follow-up to Battlefront on 360 and PS3, not the least because Star Wars Battlefront and its sequel sold extremely well on PS2 and Xbox. The claims led to a war of words in the press, with Ellis posting a lengthy statement claiming that Battlefront 3 being 75% of a mediocre game was false, while pointing to leaked footage that he said backed him up. He went on to say that LucasArts was a company with problems in 2008. Shortly after Ellis' comments, LucasArts was shuttered by Disney, which had acquired Star Wars the year before. IGN reached out to Barclay to see if he had additional context to add, but did not receive a response. Plenty of footage and even a playable build would emerge in the years that followed, allowing fans to decide for themselves what they were missing. Much of that footage would ultimately be pulled, with Battlefront 3 ultimately being lost to history. EA would later reboot the series, though with notable differences from the original LucasArts games, such as how it handled space battles. The original Battlefront games remain beloved fan favorites for the way that they combine the prequel and original trilogy eras, pitting players against each in large-scale space battles where they could board and attack enemy capital ships. It included an extensive single-player game, which EA's games would not get until the sequel. You can still play the original Star Wars Battlefront 2, though it requires some setup to work properly. It was voted the 5th best Star Wars games by IGN readers, with Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic coming in at number 1. So, speaking of the originals, would you have liked to seen a Star Wars Battlefront 3?
We're talking for the original Xbox, right?
We're talking, it would have been PS3 360 at this time.
Oh, I see what you mean. Basically, with Battlefront 2 came out for the original Xbox.
And PS2.
Okay, then obviously a couple of years later, Xbox 360, PS3 was released. Yeah, that would be interesting to see that. Because I did play Battlefront with you many years ago when we were actually...
Many years ago.
Many years ago when we were kids, teenagers actually. We were playing.
Not kids. We were graduate. We were out of high school by then.
You were like teenagers. Like we were playing Battlefront 2 in your bedroom. So it was that was pretty good.
Actually, I think it was your bedroom when I showed it to you, and I remember when the cutscene happened. You're like, "Hey, episode 1."
Wow. Was here in my bedroom right now? In the same bedroom?
Yeah.
I don't remember that part. I remember I was at your place though playing Battlefront 2.
I think it was your place. Like I showed, like you won the first battle, and then they had that, cutscene, and you're like, "Hey, episode 1."
Yeah. Okay. I thought it was at your place, but it's a debatable form right now. But.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we are trying to remember like 10
at least
about 10 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Such a long time.
Yeah. I feel so old just saying that.
We're all getting old.
Yeah. What? Yeah. I turned 36 at the beginning of the month. You turned 36 in just a few months from now.
Yeah, in August.
Yep.
Yeah. I want to see the Battlefront 3 available. Hell, since we want to amp up the game a bit, why not put Battlefront 3 for the Xbox Series XS and PS5? That would be interesting.
Yeah,
to see
I mean, since they rebooted the series, why not? I mean, there's no single player in the reboots, but that's fine. I understand that going for a large player base playing with each other. It's a whole lot fun when you got other people to play with. Because honestly, once you beat Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, the old ones, what's there left to go back to?
Yeah.
You can play a level 2 with friends against each other, but that's it. Yeah, so I played, but I had beaten both, because I had both through Games with Gold. I beaten both complete. I have played 1 and 2 online, the reboot versions. I would have loved to see 3. The only thing I have to say about 3 is there were no space battles that I remember in 1. And in 2, when I played them on PS2 for the first time, there was, I don't know if the game needed an update or what, but like the space battles never seemed to work right.
Right.
I actually had to end up skipping the space battles and just dealt with the on-foot battles. But other than that, I would love to see what they added for Star Wars Battlefront 3. And maybe they can maybe they can get those plans. Maybe they can get this guy who says 99% done and make it for current day console. Just make it online multiplayer instead of single player. Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
I'm ready to move on.
All right. Next. New Nintendo Switch Online Sega Genesis titles include Street Fighter II. The Sega Genesis library of Nintendo Switch Online gets its first batch of new games in months today. Old school fighting fans can dive into Street Fighter II Special Champion Edition. This marks the first appearance of Street Fighter II in the library, and this particular version is the 1993 console port of the first major arcade update to Street Fighter II. The collection also includes the side-scrolling classic Kid Chameleon, the arcade game Flicky, and Pulseman, a sci-fi side-scroller by Pokemon developer Game Freak. As a reminder, Genesis titles are included in the expansion pack of Nintendo Switch Online, which falls under the more expensive subscription tier. You can stay up to date on every game currently available for the entire service by checking out a complete database. Okay, so obviously you played Street Fighter II, the Special Championship Edition, right? Okay, when he comes back. So, Street Fighter II Special Champion Edition. Oh, you're back.
Sorry about that, guys. I'm here. Yeah,
okay. Basically Street Fighter II and a bunch of other games for Sega Genesis. Let me pull up the article. These games have been added to the Sega Genesis Online Switch library. Flicky, Kid Chameleon, Pulseman, and Street Fighter II Special Champions Edition. I think you played Street Fighter II, did you not? This is the Champions Edition that let you play like as Bison and play as the bosses, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. There's so many different Street Fighter versions out there. Street Fighter Turbo, Street Fighter 2 Part 2, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have a Street Fighter 3 until like having Street Fighter 2 parts later, you know, and then so on and so forth. So it's yeah, I don't remember which Street Fighter 2 I played, but definitely played Street Fighter 2 altogether.
Do you remember if you could play as M. Bison in the one you played?
Unless if I unlocked him, but I don't have the game itself. I never owned the Street Fighter 2 game.
Okay. Well, did you play Flicky, Kid Chameleon, or Pulse Man?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay.
I heard of them,
okay. I've heard of Kid Chameleon. I haven't played it. But Street Fighter 2 Special Champion Edition, that's the one I grew up with.
Okay.
On Sega Genesis. You could play as M. Bison from the start. Yeah, so these are the games that join Nintendo Switch Online, the Sega Genesis collection. Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
What comes to me is Street Fighter games. I don't have, to my awareness, the only Street Fighter memorabilia I have of any sort is Street Fighter Alpha 2, the movie. And at one point I had a digital copy of, I downloaded piracy for about Street Fighter 1, the movie. Alpha, it's called. And I think I had, also I just recently got, not recently, I had it for a while, Street Fighter 4. I haven't just played that game yet, and I own that game for how many months so far? Gotta be at least a year now. I own that game. I got it on sale for about not even $5. So it was on sale. That was pretty good. I think about doing the once I'm doing gameplay of Street Fighter 4 with you guys. I'm not sure though when.
Okay, so not really interested in not really interested though in
Street Fighter 2.
what's the yeah.
Hey, it'd be nice to own a Super Nintendo copy of Street Fighter 2, but it was expensive after a while, I bet. Like if I get the
I'm sorry.
copy.
What was that?
If I get a used copy of Street Fighter 2 for the Super Nintendo, that might be costly for me.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was. I'm not really sure if that was if it came out on Super Nintendo. I thought the Special Champions Edition was Sega Genesis exclusive.
Well, like I say, I don't know about the Champions Edition or any edition of that sort. Street Fighter 2 wasn't released on Super Nintendo. At least,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they even had their own special edition. I think they even had a red cart for one of the
okay.
for the Street Fighter 2 Alpha or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
So ready to move on, or?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next. This one is going to be probably a big one. Everything announced during the April 2023 Nintendo Indie World Showcase. Let me pull it up all the way. Nintendo showcased more than 20 minutes of indie games during today's Indie World Showcase, providing new looks at 21 games coming to Switch. If you weren't able to catch it, or if you missed the name of the game you're excited to check out, or even its release date, we've got you covered. Here's everything announced during April's 2023 Nintendo Indie World Showcase. Miniko's Night Market. At Miniko's Night Market, an all-Japanese-inspired village at the center of Mr. Fugu, is visited long ago by Miko, a cat-like god. Miko visits the farms of this village each year to grant good fortune and prosperity to the farmers. However, some farmers grow impatient with their blessings and drive Miko out. With Miko banished from the land, this village works hard to create its own success, and as time goes on, fewer and fewer people believe in the myth of Miko. But some still do, and it sounds like we'll learn more about what that means for some characters throughout our journey. In the game, you'll befriend townsfolk, craft doodads, and ultimately prepare for the weekly night market. The quiet village becomes a bustling hub of commerce, parades, cat races, and stage performances, and when you're exploring the island, everything you find can be bought back and sold on the market. Miniko's Night Market hits Switch and PC on September 26, 2023. My Time at Sandrock. My Time at Sandrock is a new town sim set in the same world as 2019's My Time at Porsche, but gone are the Lucius Greens and countryside setting of that game. In its place is a new post-apocalyptic desert community, hoping to be restored to its former glory. It will feature dozens of characters to interact with and plenty of side quests to keep your schedule in Sandrock busy. Gather resources, assemble machines, and transform a derelict workshop into a finely tuned facility. When you're not doing that, you'll be crafting, decorating, and playing minigames. Or maybe you're venturing out into ancient ruins, searching for relics and taking down monsters in melee combat. My Time at Sandrock first launched in Steam Early Access last May and had switched this summer. If you purchase the main game, a separate online multiplayer version of the game will be available after launch so you and your friends can play together in Sandrock. Played Up, which kind of looks like a version of Overcooked. Played Up is a roguelite management sim where your goal is to create, decorate, manage, and ultimately automate a restaurant. You'll need to manage both the kitchen and the front of the house to keep customers happy. At the end of each randomly generated shift, you can purchase new appliances and other upgrades to increase the efficiency of your business. Plus, you can play with up to 3 friends in local or online co-op. Played Up arrives on Switch this October. Quilts and Cats of Calico. Quilts and Cats of Calico is a video game adaptation of the popular tabletop game Calico. Much like the board game, you'll need to place tile pieces on a board, sew patterns to score points, and more in an effort to attract cats to your quilt. In this version of Calico, you can customize your cats, changing how their fur looks and adding cosmetics as well. Quilts and Cats of Calico comes to Switch this fall. Rift of the Necrodancer. Rift of the Necrodancer is a spin-off of Crypt of the Necrodancer with an all-new storyline that takes the world of Crypt and applies it to a musical lane-based combat system. You'll need to match the on-screen prompts barreling down the lanes in order to defeat enemies. Each monster type has a different movement pattern and some even take multiple hits to defeat. Boss battles will bring additional challenges to the songs too, but if you're looking for something else outside the main storyline, Rift of the Necrodancer features a special minigame to play for each of the 5 character storylines in the game that hits Switch and PC this year. A little to the left, Cupboards and Drawers. The Cupboards and Drawers DLC for A Little to the Left launches on Switch this June and brings 25 new puzzles to tidy up as you explore a world of small spaces, secret compartments, and more. Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon Puzzlers Pack DLC. The free Puzzlers Pack DLC for Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon launches this spring. It brings 2 new playable characters to this roguelite puzzle game, alongside new Quandary challenges to complete in the halls of Castle Quandary. You can also visit Mr. Hat to purchase over 20 new in-game hats to modify wands, or you can pick up new relics in Chester's shop. Cult of the Lamb, Relics of the Old Faith. In the upcoming Relics of the Old Faith expansion for Cult of the Lamb, you'll come across dozens of new items, relics, and enemies. Plus, this DLC features new versions of the 4 Guardian Bishops, new buildings to construct, and additional followers to recruit. You can keep the faith going in a new Permadeath Gauntlet 1 mode and a Boss Rush mode after beating the game too. Cult of the Lamb's Relics of the Old Faith launches April 24th, 2023. Animal Well. Animal Well comes from publisher Big Mode, the new publishing arm of YouTuber Video Game Donkey and developer Shared Memory. In Animal Well, you'll explore an atmospheric, pixelated world in search of treasures within a labyrinth environment. Items you pick up can be used in a number of ways, like a quick getaway or to have a friendly animal help you. You'll need to get crafty with items to survive in Animal Well, which hits Switch this winter. Primal Clock. In this unique puzzle exploration game that looks inspired by Where's Waldo, you'll have more than 40 cases to solve across time and space. There are many eras to visit, from the Lost Age to a cybernetic future, and different crime scenes develop across various timelines. What you solve in one timeline could affect another, and the map changes as you play through the game to reflect that. Primal Clock launches on June 30th, 2023. Tesla Grad 2. In Tesla Grad 2, you'll need to harness electromagnetic powers to solve physics-based puzzles as you explore a seamless Scandinavian environment. To survive, you'll need to master the art of telemancy. Tesla Grad 2 is available today alongside Tesla Grad Remastered, a modernized re-release of the first game that features enhanced visuals and 10 new extra challenge levels. You can pick up both in the Tesla Grad Power Pack Edition, or you can purchase each game individually. hold on. Shadows over Loathing. Shadows over Loathing is a new slapstick comedy game set in the world of West of Loathing. It features plenty of stick figures, flappers, fishmen, goblins, government conspiracy, and more in a unique 1920s setting. You'll encounter talking frogs, sentient math, and eldritch horrors in this black and white world. The digital version is out today, but if you want a physical version of Shadows of Loathing, you'll need to wait until this fall. Blasphemous 2. In Blasphemous 2, you'll follow the Pendant One through a mysterious nightmarish land. A sequel to Blasphemous, this game remains faithful to the original skill-based combat and challenging platforming, but it comes with improved visuals and additional abilities to help you survive. It features progression systems, custom builds, and expanded player moveset. Blasphemous 2 launches this summer. Oxenfree 2 Lost Signals. Set 5 years after the first Oxenfree, which was released in 2016, Oxenfree 2 follows Riley as she returns to her hometown of Kamina to investigate some strange electromagnetic waves. Just 4 hours ago, a mysterious cult opened a portal above Edwards Island, and Riley and her friends aren't sure they're the ones that need to save the island before that they know they have to. The trailer seems to indicate we'll be playing with different timelines, spooky ghosts from other side, and more, and we'll be doing so using a special radio. This time, though, we'll also have a walkie-talkie to interact with locals and learn more about what might be going on. Oxenfree 2 Lost Signals looks great, and it's PlayStation, Switch, and PC on July 12, 2023. Damn, Xbox is left out. Sizzle Reel Hits. Nintendo closed out today's Indie World Showcase with a quick hit sizzle reel showcasing 7 more games coming to Switch. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, available later today. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk came out on the 18th. Paper Trail came out August 5th, or coming out August 5th. Little Kitty Big City coming out sometime in 2024. Chants of Sedmar launching the 5th. Grotato launching sometime this year. And Escape Academy, the complete edition, launching this fall. And that's everything Nintendo announced during its April 2023 Indie World Showcase today. Do you care about any of these games, even though it looks like none of them are coming to Xbox?
Well, Oxenfree is available still on the Xbox. We got Games with Gold. That came out for free, though, on Games with Gold. So I still got my copy of Oxenfree. The other games I'm not sure about. They don't stand out to me, really. These are games available on the Nintendo Switch, right?
Yeah, well, some are coming out on PlayStation. A lot of them are coming out on PC, so they're not exclusive.
I see. Well, I've been so busy with Xbox library games in the library for the last several years now that it's not a joke, because Xbox themselves has a project called ID at Xbox, and they do have like indie games in conjunction with Microsoft Studios to make all these various games for the platform of Xbox. So it's hard to keep up, with Xbox by itself, let alone PC and a Switch and all. So it's very hard to keep up with so many games coming out for the last several years. That's not even a joke, my friend. And
but keep in mind, this is just independent games, independent studios. Not you weren't going to see anything AAA in this list.
I wasn't it's AAA, ID and Xbox is just indie games. That's what they explained.
Yeah.
Because ID and Xbox is an actual program to help indie games bring about their games onto the Xbox platform. Last time I checked. So.
Yeah. I do have to say there are 2 games I cared about. Obviously, the first one, Oxenfree 2, because we had, like you said, we got Oxenfree, the first one, as part of Games with Gold.
Mm-hmm.
So it sucks that we're not going to get the sequel. Maybe we will later on. But I also got to say, Played Up, like I said, it kind of looks like an Overcooked store, but it's not a time. It's not. I don't think as hectic as Overcooked.
Right.
It's more management of a simulated restaurant. And they said, like, the days would be generated. So, one day would not play out like the next.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you got to upgrade your equipment at the end. But unfortunately, that's just so far for Switch.
Yeah.
So, those are the games I cared about. You ready to anything to add or ready to move on?
I have nothing else to add. We can move on right now.
Okay. Next, only a few more. So, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4 more stories. FTC boss reacts to politicians' questions about Microsoft deal to buy Activision Blizzard. At the end of the day, we always make our own independent judgments based on the law and the facts. Microsoft is in the process of attempting to acquire Activision Blizzard, one of the biggest acquisitions in history. At $68.7 billion, it's not just the biggest video game acquisition, it's one of the largest of any kind across all business sectors. As such, the deal is facing regulatory scrutiny, including a lawsuit from the United States government's Federal Trade Commission. When is the Federal Trade Commission going to finally mind their own business? They were behind, what was it? They were behind making people dictate what age their videos were meant for on YouTube with the threat of $42,000 fees. That was the FTC. FTC Chair Lena Khan was questioned by the Committee on Energy and Commerce this week, where she faced a question about Microsoft's proposed buyout of the Call of Duty company. Khan was not able to speak directly about the deal because it's in the midst of administrative proceedings, she said. As such, she said she would let the FTC's official complaint speak for itself. That being said, Khan was able to share some high-level thoughts on what the FTC's goal is. Representative Diana Harshbarger, a Republican from Tennessee who signed a resolution to impeach President Joe Biden, yes, and voted to overturn election results from Donald Trump's second presidency bid, that scam, asked Khan if it's true that competition law is not supposed to protect an industry's dominant player. Khan agreed. Harshbarger then asked why, in her belief, the FTC is taking action to protect Sony, which is one of the loudest opponents of Microsoft's bid to buy Activision Blizzard. Khan said it's true that the FTC solicits feedback from all types of market participants, including big players. But in the end, the FTC tries its cases on the rule of law, Khan said. This case has also been voted out and is an administrative proceeding, so I'll let the complaint speak for itself, Khan said. I will say, as a general matter, we always really benefit from hearing market participants across the board, including big players. But at the end of the day, we always make our own independent judgment based on the law and the facts. Harshbarger pressed Khan on this after earlier asking questions about why the FTC ordered Illumina to divest of its cancer detection test maker Grail to help protect competition. You can hear Khan's comments in this video from here. Microsoft is no stranger to tussling with the U.S. government. Years ago, in a landmark case of United States versus Microsoft, the government claimed Microsoft operated a monopoly in the PC space and made it challenging for people to use non-Microsoft products on their computers. Microsoft eventually settled with the U.S. and agreed to some remedies. Some believe Microsoft might eventually reach a settlement and agree to remedies with the FTC in its Activision Blizzard case to get it done. However, the case remains pending and there's no official word as of yet. The FTC claims Microsoft being allowed to buy Activision Blizzard could create a scenario in which Microsoft could suppress competition on console and cloud gaming. An evidentiary hearing is slated for August 2nd, 2023. In the UK, the Competition and Markets Authority is expected to hand down its final decision on Microsoft's proposed buyout of Activision Blizzard by April 26. The CMA has already provisionally concluded that Microsoft's efforts in the console space are not likely to be anti-competitive, but key concerns remain over the cloud gaming market. Keep checking back with GameSpot for more. It's kind of like, will the government, including the FTC, will they kindly fuck off? That's the best way I can. That's the best way I could put it, because I mean, and I caught that GameSpot, the person who wrote it, trying to make the Republican look like the bad guy. But yeah, I mean, Harshbarger, who was the Republican, I believe, she came up with a good point. Why are you investigating this when Sony seems to be its biggest attractor?
Oh yeah.
Do you have anything to say about this?
Well, I mean, we don't want to end up like back during the time of the progressive period back in the 1900s to 1920s, where big oil, big pharma, whatever these companies are back then, were overtaking the government, and that's what's the economy as a whole. So that's what FCC is for, because we have to have federal regulators regulate the economy to the best of their ability to make sure that there's no unfair practices, there's no illegal business transactions going on. So it's they gotta do their job. It sucks that they do too much of their job, but it's it's acquisition. That's all it is. If you have the money for it, buy the company, and it's yours to keep. Business is business.
Yeah. I just have to say the FTC, it's not really doing its job, especially when they start going over after YouTubers.
Mm-hmm. Well, they haven't gone after YouTubers at all, because we don't have no fines yet I have no fines from the FTC about my YouTube videos. And no one has gotten fines of it, but that's not the way it sounded when it first came out. Right.
They said a max of $42,000 per video. That didn't gel with that. If you happen to mark the wrong age base, and even then it was so subjective that they had to move out of the blanket system for YouTube. And like I said, the reason I'm bringing that up, the FTC was behind all of that.
Oh yeah.
You could have gone after Google, you could have gone after YouTube, but instead they made YouTube a whole lot less fun, which seems to have been the trend ever since YouTube went corporate.
What you guys said too, Triple J, is that back when YouTube was acquired by Google in 2007, it was only for a couple of $1 billion. This Activision Blizzard deal is almost $70 billion. So it's a big, high-stakes type of transaction that should be regulated to the best of its ability. That's too much, but to the best of its ability. But it's it is what it is, my friend.
Yeah, well, I just have to say, I think, hopefully, I think I'll explain why I think this. I think this deal is eventually going to go through because of Microsoft signing, getting all those deals. They got deals with Nintendo, they got deals with Steam, they got deals with a gaming company in Ukraine, a gaming distribution company in Ukraine. There's probably others that they got. I think Nvidia even signed a deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think all those deals are going to help. And Microsoft saying, Sony, all you have to do is come to the table.
Mm-hmm.
You can't force them to come to the table. Sony wants to get rid of Call of Duty from its console because, like you said, I think we reported Sony's deal with Activision Blizzard runs out next year anyway.
Right.
So they would have to come to the table with someone if it was gonna if they wanted to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just doing everything to stop this. And I just think Microsoft making all those deals with other companies is proving that Microsoft is true at its word about wanting to bring the game to more platforms, not less.
Yeah.
Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
Not much really. I just want to say, just lastly though, and I hope by the time this year it'll be over with by the summertime the earliest, because Sony's just being a nitpicker. It's just being they just being sassy and just petty, and Sony themselves, they should worry about their own little assets and their acquisitions that they acquired over the last couple of years, which was what, for $2 billion, not even $5 billion for one which I forgot which one was it, but it was Sony acquired a gaming company for about $5 billion, not even, of sorts.
That's not Naughty Dog. I don't think they spent that much.
Okay. It was not.
I don't know. I don't know about. I don't remember what it was.
We talked about it. We talked about it back many months ago, but I don't forget which episode though. So.
All right. Yeah. So I hopefully this thing gets done and ironed out. But as more news comes on it, we'll keep reporting it.
Oh, definitely.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Alright. Okay, so we got 3 more stories left. So this is going to be a short episode. The Sims patch has fucked up loads of faces. The eyes look weirdly shaped, and the mouth has a weird underbite. An update this week for The Sims 4, bringing the game to version 1.97.42, was supposed to make a few fixes and tweaks under the hood, as it instead fucked up lots of faces. Many users were quick to find that after installing the update, their characters looked a little different. As Sean explains in a tweet, after today's patch, all my previously created Sims have a face bug. The eyes look weirdly shaped and the mouth has a weird underbite. Even resetting the eyes with the new preset doesn't work to fix it. Look at Sean's character here, who was handsome before the update, and still handsome in his own unique way, I guess, after. Though now, in unintended, I'm a model squinting to see the menu while in line at McDonald's, or I'm too high to have left the house. I made a terrible mistake kind of way. The issue isn't affecting every character for every single person playing the game, but for those who have been hit, the results are hilarious, because it's not just their own sim that has a new face, it's everyone in their game, right down to the townspeople. In a thread to EA support forums, other users are posting examples, that's a scary picture, of their own affected Sims. Some have gotten thinner necks and crossed eyes. Others say their mouths are now transparent, or that their eyeballs have sunk back into their skulls, or that their eyelids are messed up while blinking. And then there's old shark teeth here. A picture of shark teeth. Those afflicted say it doesn't matter if they're using mods or not, or whether they can start new ones or edit their existing characters or not. The bugs are persisting. In response, EA say the team is aware of and investigating a bug in yesterday's update, resulting in changes to the face and body of existing Sims, and that we are on it and will keep you informed as we work towards a resolution. Well, this episode wouldn't have been complete without poking fun at The Sims 4. What do you...
My friend.
Huh?
Once more again, my friend.
Yeah, so what do you think of... I mean, that picture of shark teeth was scary.
I can't see it on my end, but I'm sure it's very hideous.
Well, you played Mario on Nintendo 64, right?
Not much of it, though. Only up to, like level 15. That's
okay, well, do you remember in the first world the big black thing on the chain?
Oh, like the Chomper.
Yeah. Did you ever go up to him and get close to him and press C up and get a good view of those teeth?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what this picture reminded me of in The Sims. Kind of like that.
Okay.
But like I said, it's not a complete episode unless we poke more fun at the Sims update and update that for the Sims 4. What do you think of this? Sims eyes sinking back into their skulls, or a Sim looking high, or
well, that's on top of the zombies and the LGBT and incest and oh man, we covered so much over the last several months of stuff.
And they just keep giving us more content to talk about.
Yeah. I'm sorry, man. Sims 4 supposed to be this family friendly copy of a game that's supposed to be the best Sims ever, but they still
don't forget the Star Wars DLC that no one asked for.
Oh, okay. Over $700 worth of DLC to buy from.
To get everything. And one of those packs was when they ran a poll asking players, what would you like to see? No one voted for Star Wars. Somehow that got the green light.
Especially after Star Wars Episode 9 came out back in 2019. So,
I think the Star Wars update happened before that.
Right.
Or maybe right after, because we started this podcast I think in 2020 or 2021.
August 2020 actually.
Okay. Wow, we've been doing it for a long time.
3 years, yeah.
Yeah. So Yeah, if you want to see if you want to see your sim with eyes sinking back in his skull, or shark teeth, or and it happening not just to your sim, but the townspeople around your sim, get this update,
Oh yeah.
and EA will they'll fix it whenever they get around to it.
Oh yeah.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
It's almost like we have to make fun of EA of The Sims sometime.
Yeah, we have to.
Nintendo hacker Gary Bowser, released from prison, still owes millions. Bowser claims he only had a minor role in infamous hacking ring. Gary Bowser, a man sentenced in 2021 to 40 months in prison and a $14.5 million fine for his role in Nintendo hacking Group Team Executor, has just been released from jail. But it's possible the massive amount of money he now owes in restitution may impact the entire rest of his life and livelihood. Bowser was indicted back in 2020 alongside Max Lohm and Yaning Chen for their activities as part of Team Executor, a hacking ring that sold chips allowing users to play pirated games. Despite seemingly having a smaller role in the operation as its marketing and PR manager, Bowser was the only one of the three ultimately tried and convicted in the U.S. Chen, a Chinese national, was never arrested, and Lohm was never able to be extradited to the U.S. Bowser was initially charged with 11 felonies, including wire fraud, conspiracy to circumvent technological measures, trafficking in circumvention devices, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Bowser pled guilty to 2 of the charges and was sentenced to first a $4.5 million fee and later a $10 million additional fine, as well as up to 40 months in prison. In a recent interview with podcaster Nick Moses, Bowser calls in from federal detention's SeaTac in Seattle, where he was incarcerated, but from the Northwest Detention Center in Tacoma, Washington. He says he's awaiting processing before being sent home to Canada, having got out of prison early on good behavior. Bowser claims that of the $14.5 million he owes, he has only been able to pay off $175 thus far, taken out in $25 monthly installments from his income from a job in the prison library. Should Bowser find a job at home in Canada, he says his pay will continue to be docked until the full amount is paid off, though his agreement with Nintendo only allows between 25 to 30% of his pay to be docked at a time. Previously, Bowser stated that while Team Executor earned at least tens of millions of dollars of proceeds, he himself only received a small fraction of that. Nintendo has historically been extremely aggressive when dealing with hackers and other perceived violations of its copyright, having previously gone after influencers, modders, ROM sites, and even other video games. During Bowser's trial, U.S. District Judge Robert Lasnik reportedly said that Bowser's sentence was in part a message to deter other hackers. Review Tech USA did talk about this. What do you think of this?
Well, he got what's coming to him, and you know that Nintendo, for how many decades so far, especially since with the YouTube copyright system, like you don't see me upload any like Nintendo, like a lot of Nintendo content of sorts, even if it is Nintendo 64 or whatever, because obviously Nintendo likes to be anal about their content that's being shown on the internet. But they know better than Nintendo. They can't just stop piracy just by one person being like, distributing chips and other mods and emulators, etc., etc. So, what are they thinking of? Like, of course, they make an example out of that person, but other people are still going to continue their operations wherever they are in the world, and you can't stop that. Eventually, you cannot stop everything. There will always still be an operation to distribute Nintendo emulators, Nintendo products, Nintendo, even if it's official or not. And of course, yes, we need Nintendo's approval for products to be resold again, but still, it's like, your products are not up to par. They're not preserved. They're not being preserved for future projects for newer gamers that want to play your older content, like Super Mario Brothers 64, or perhaps what's it called, Bomberman 64, that type of shit. Those type of games, like, you can't just like, Nintendo wants not take care of that themselves with their games. Now, of course, with Nintendo's Switch, they are after all these decades, but it gotta take them decades to figure that stuff out. and it's still lacking. It's still making people spend a lot of money just to play old games. So like people just wonder to themselves like, why should I spend what's it called, $80 for a family size plan for to play Nintendo games online, where I just get every copy for about $10, $20 used. You know?
Not so much. Like the first party Nintendo games like Mario Kart and stuff, that's gonna go for quite a lot.
Right. I still have my Mario Kart to this day for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I was thinking Nintendo 64 version.
Right.
As a matter of fact, since we brought it up, I want to look it up on price charting, see what those games go for now. I'm pretty sure the Nintendo 64 version would be so expensive. It's okay. Would be so expensive and make the Switch Online service look like a good way. Okay. Mario Kart 64 for Nintendo 64. Loose, it's $38.
Wow.
Let me look up Super Mario Kart on Super Nintendo. Super Mario Kart.
Okay, I still got mine, still in good condition.
Yeah, Super Mario Kart. Ooh, I didn't know it was this expensive. Super Mario Kart on Super Nintendo is $35.
Used. Okay.
Yeah. Well, new. Well, complete in box, it's $100. Brand new, never before open, $737.50.
Jesus Christ.
Let's look at what the complete in box and new prices for Mario Kart 64. Complete in box. Mario Kart 64. Complete in box, $129. Brand new, never before open, $1,525.
That's enough to buy myself an Xbox, PS5 first, man. That's a bundle. That is.
That's what the base. That was actually more than what the basement apartment cost us in Valley Stream was. That was $1,500 was 1 month's rent.
Wow.
Could you imagine?
Shit, that's a lot.
Yeah. So I mean, and 15, 20. So 15, and then they raised it for the last few months we were there, and then, but yeah, $1,525 for unopened Mario Kart 64.
Crazy.
So, for me to add, Nintendo's gone crazy with the YouTube thing. They even tried becoming their own MCU.
Yeah.
Where it was the only way you could use Nintendo game content in there in your videos if you wanted, in any way, shape, or form, even if it was covered under fair use. But yeah, this guy, he's either going to be paying for a long time, or he's going to have to file for bankruptcy.
Yeah, just want to file for bankruptcy because he's an average man based on his stature. Like, he's not some rich person. He has to definitely file bankruptcy at least 2 times over.
Well, you can't file bankruptcy twice.
You can file as many bankruptcies as you want, but it's going to look bad on your credit report.
No, you can only file bankruptcy for once you file bankruptcy, you can't do it again for a certain number of years.
Well, obviously yes, but you can still file another bankruptcy another few years from now. I'm just trying to say, in essence, like they can't stop you from filing bankruptcy, 3, 4, or 5 times, because look at Donald Trump. He filed bankruptcy at least like 4 times.
But look how long Donald Trump's been in business. You're right. You can't do it. You can't just do it every time you get a big new bill, but that you can't afford. But and also they do look at your assets, just because I used to work for a lawyer who handled bankruptcies.
Right.
A lot of times I had to put their information in the computer to see if it was even legal for them to file bankruptcy.
Right.
So, you can't just say, I'm not paying for this. I'm filing bankruptcy. No, not that easy.
Of course.
So yeah, but I mean, maybe Gary Bowser, maybe this guy could, especially since he's going to be working a normal job once he gets one outside of once he gets one outside of prison.
Because it's $14 million in fines, so that's like how many, that's a lot of money for an average person to pay off, because it's.
And they said he has to pay, and from Review Tech USA's video, they said he has to pay at least $10 million.
Yeah, and 30% of his income gotta go towards the tender for the rest of his paid life.
Yeah. Hey, that's the only good thing. When you whether it's judgments from the court, which basically this is, but even with creditors like I have, there's only a certain amount of your income they can take, and it really varies depending on the state and, in this case, the country. Because Gary Bowser's from Canada.
Yeah, so Canada's gonna be raped up the ass with taxes and fines.
Yeah. Ready to move.
Because Canada themselves, they're not really like a good country when it comes to taxation. That's because they're not lenient on certain fines and fees that are acquired by the person to that company. So I'm not saying I know everything about Canada, of course. I'm not no lawyer. I'm not no legal expert. But based on what Canada's been doing for the last several decades, it's like they just like restrict the citizen from doing anything freedom wise, in a sense. So
yeah, not to mention, we're just two guys giving our opinion on different news stories that have something to do with gaming. So we're not legal experts by any stretch of the imagination. Anything else to add, or ready to move on to the final story for tonight?
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay. Next, let me take it off price charting. Okay. First PlayStation Plus game catalog title for May 2023 revealed. Play as a Shiba Inu in Humanity, launching on May 16th. Developer Enhance revealed that its new game Humanity will launch day and date for PS4 and PS5 via PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium on May 16th. The puzzle action platformer will also be available for purchase standalone and will cost $30, though PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium members will gain access to it at no additional cost. In Humanity, players assume the role of a Shiba Inu, who has the power to command crowds of people, forcing them to jump and take on platforming challenges. The full game will include 90 stages full of obstacles and puzzles to solve, along with a slew of unlockables. The main story mode seems like it will offer plenty of variety in terms of gameplay, and will even include boss battles to mix things up. Humanity includes a stage creator allowing for user-made challenges, as well as a virtual reality mode that supports PSVR, PSVR 2, and PC VR headsets. A limited-time demo for Humanity was available earlier this year, giving players access to 10 stages, the stage creator, and virtual reality functionality. The demo was only available until March 6. Humanity comes from developer Enhance, the team behind the beloved Tetris Effect and Res Infinite. So, what do you think of this game, Humanity? It has a dog on the cover, so I guess that's what a Shiba Inu is.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of this game, Humanity?
I never heard of it yet until tonight, so I can't say much about it right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and Shiba Inu is a dog breed.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, basically it looks like it's going to be a puzzle game where you got 90 stages of obstacles to get through, and I guess you can control people as a dog to help you get through the different stages.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Is it set in somewhere in Europe by any chance? No.
They didn't give a location. No.
Okay, because there's this promo I saw earlier this year, late last year, of a game where after 4 people, you have to have 4 people to have in your possession to control, and if all your 4 people die, the whole semantic of the town switches over differently, different dynamics every single time. So you gotta not start from scratch, but you gotta do some stuff over, but a different way. And it's kind of like like a some sort of like folklore, spiritual, superstition type of game. I forget what's it called exactly. I saw it the other year, but it's not similar to what you're saying about with this humanity game. So
Yeah. All I know is it's kind of like a puzzle. It's kind of like a puzzle game, figuring out how to get past obstacles, get from one point to the next.
all right,
That's all I know.
okay.
All right.
I will hear more about this game later on this year, especially before the summertime hits.
I mean, for right now, it looks like it's only PlayStation exclusive,
Right,
but you never know.
Right.
It could end up coming out 2-3 years later for Xbox.
oh yeah,
And since this is created by the same people who made Tetris Effect, it's probably going to be a simple game to play.
right.
Okay. Anything else to add, or that's it?
That's all I can really say for the time being. I just want to say to you guys that if I can say this is the end of the podcast, pretty much.
Yeah.
I know you guys are wondering why I haven't really been uploading as many gameplay as much for the last several weeks, if not almost a month now. I've been busy with the Z League. I'm a membership right now of that Z League, so I have to put time towards that to make some kind of money while I still have the opportunity to do so. Whenever I can, I try to upload like at least once a week of like some sort of gameplay. I did with Metal Gear Solid 3 the other week, so I'll try to do that again sometime next week, which is like after the 23rd, 24th, give or take, of April. I thank you guys for looking at my past content, to those who are concerned. But just stay in tune. You'll see more content coming from me whenever I can, especially for this upcoming summer. So we should have a lot more free time by then. So
Why don't you remind people what your YouTube and BitChute channels are?
Oh yeah, sure. YouTube search Dr. Games 101 on YouTube or on the Twitch. I do live streams once in the blue moon. I will admit that's not as often, but you see past content of our podcast, States of Madness, so you'll see us there. And that's about it for the time being. Hopefully next time I will get more videos out there. So
Yeah. This week, I did play Yakuza Like a Dragon once or twice, about I think 2 or 3 times. I played Total Extreme Wrestling 2020. At least I was able to play until the end of the week. Again, next week it all depends on because I'm like job searching through the day and then dealing with my home situation at night. Sometimes it gives me the time to play at the end of the night. Sometimes it doesn't.
right.
So again, when I do get a telemarketing job, it's all going to depend on what the schedule is. Although most telemarketing jobs will have to stop by 9 p.m. Under the law, because you can't call people past 9 p.m.
Of course.
Or at least you're not allowed to if you're trying to collect payment.
Yeah, that law exists.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's federal or if it varies by state. I just know in New York and Georgia the cutoff time is 9 p.m. if you're trying to sell something.
Especially in New York, because all the stock markets are closed. The financial district is closed by 5 o'clock. So,
Well, not even that. It's just like if you're trying to call a homeowner to sell, these little knickknacks that you made. You can't call homeowners past 9 p.m.
right, of course.
So again, once I do get a telemarketing job, as long as I'm not extremely tired from it, then I'll be able to, stream more often, stream more consistently. Still going to be playing Yakuza Like a Dragon because I will be reviewing that when I finish it. I just finished Chapter 5 right before we came on here. If you want to see in the About section of my Twitch profile, there's a link to my website, jimmysdeals.com. Well, jimmys-deals.com. That's where I post written reviews now. Please check it out. I have a code vault on there. I got many listings in the store, video games, records, etc. And the next time we'll be on stream for podcast episode 72. is Saturday, May 6th. So May 6th, and again, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you then. I'll try. As far as playing games on Twitch, I'll do that when I can.
Definitely.
Anything else you want to add before we sign off for tonight?
Just look out for my videos whenever you can, guys. Check back periodically on my YouTube channels, especially the gaming channel. Obviously, I haven't uploaded much with my political content, obviously, because it's been not a slow news period, of course, but I don't have much to say after a while because it is what it is. What's been done with my gaming content is never ending. I could do more Metal Gear Solid gameplay of Metal Gear Solid 3 as well as 4. Resident Evil 2 remake. I'll try to do that sometime this month or next month with the streams and stuff like that. I know I promised you guys supposed to do it within 2 weeks, but Z-League is kind of like my income source for the time being. I so far made about several dollars from that, so I'm not currently looking for work right now because I'm considered disabled. So it's I try to do my best to try to make some money whenever I can, however I can. So that's why I interfere with my YouTube content. So please be patient. I greatly appreciate it, guys. That's all.
Until next time, good night, everyone.
Good night, guys. Goodbye.